Hello, welcome to episode 1 of Garden Chats. Today we are joined by the usual, so me, Henny, and Nali,
That's me.
and Anna.
Hello.
And we're joined with a guest called Chad.
Hello.
And yeah, today's our first proper episode, so I'm looking forward to it. And we don't have much of a
Usual format.
Yeah. We're just gonna sort of chat about our thoughts and feelings of the day, of the week, any worries we've had, and hopefully have like a deep chat and a meaningful chat.
Just wing it, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I mean, the idea is to generate and create a safe environment for people to talk about their feelings and get rid of any walls that they put up. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna start off by asking how everyone's day was. What did everyone get up to?
Right. Hello. Yes. So I woke up early before my alarm.
Wow.
Someone had set an alarm for Hakuna Matata this morning, so I woke up to the joy of waiting for Hakuna Matata to start.
Amazing.
Then got out of bed, I had an apple, and I did a bit of music, and then I listened to a record, ELO, a New World record,
Amazing.
a cracking record,
Yeah.
definitely worth a listen to.
Yeah.
Had a little nap,
Oh.
and then came here, so it was a good day.
Oh, nice one.
Do you play an instrument?
Yeah, I play a few. I play like guitar, bass, and piano, and
Oh,
sing.
really?
And, yeah,
Cool.
pretty much
That's wicked.
stuff. Yeah.
How long have you been playing for?
Guitar since I was 9, and then all the other instruments I taught myself when I was like 16, 17 or something, and just
nice.
sort of play them every now and then.
Oh, it's really credible. Yeah, nice one.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah, it's good laugh.
Does anyone else play instruments?
I don't.
I used to play the cornet, but because you know when you get selected to
Yeah.
you can play the clarinet. Well, all the good instruments were taken, so I got left with the cornet. But I did it for 2 years.
That's really good.
I did the
That's
violin
dedicated.
as well.
Am I the only one who doesn't know what a cornet is?
It's like a small trumpet.
Right. That's really cool. Trumpet is underrated.
I was bad though.
instrument. Really? Oh.
Really bad.
Yeah, it must be quite difficult.
Yeah.
It's a really weird noise that you have to make with your mouth. I'm not going to do it, but really,
I just
really
like
funky.
pressing them buttons on the top.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Tell us more about this record.
The record.
Mm.
Right, so I can't remember what one it is, but ELO released a few albums. In fact, quite a few. And a New World record it's got a few classic tunes on there. And my friend had lent it to me. And I only have the left-hand side of my speakers, so I can only tell you what heart...
No.
stereo speakers.
Yeah.
You
My
can't listen
record
to the
player's
Beatles.
broken. So, no. Not in stereo, no.
Just the left.
So I've listened to I've listened to the entire record, but only half of it, and I can tell you that
That's
the half I
bizarre.
listened to was fantastic. The songwriting is incredible, and it
Wicked.
sounds. And I fell asleep to it. It was so lovely. I got entranced.
That
fell
just
asleep.
sounds so beautiful. That sounds like such a lovely
Yeah,
activity.
The sun was
Yeah.
shining. There were some parakeets flying around outside.
Oh,
I
man.
laid back on my bed. And just,
Yeah.
and
I can
just
picture it.
Yeah, fell asleep. It was nice. Good record though. Really good record.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Do you have a record player, anyone?
I don't. I've been meaning to get one because I have a box of records that was given to me, and they're just random artists.
Like that one.
Like that one.
'Cause that's a sick.
yeah.
That's a really.
For everyone
good one.
listening,
Isaac
we
Hayes.
have Isaac Hayes,
Mm.
Black Moses. I guess that's the name of the album. But yeah, I've been meaning to get one. So yeah, well, did that sort of, was that like a pick me up? Did that help you
Yeah.
feel make you feel good?
Yeah, I had a particularly good day today. Woke up in just a really good mood and had it from start to finish. It was just well, it's not even finished yet. It's still quite early into it,
Yeah.
but just had a good day. Everything seemed to go
It was
well
so
right.
sunny as well.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I think
like
the
the
weather has a
weather.
massive
So
point,
hot.
massive part to do with it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man.
It
I just feel so much more upbeat because the weather's
yeah.
nice. I feel
Productive.
happier. I feel
It's crazy. my boss was saying today, like how he just felt like it was like a vibe in the air. There's just a vibe.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. You can smell hot weather. I don't know if
Yeah.
you find it, but when it was sunny last week and I walked outside, it smelt like summer. And suddenly, in like a wave of nostalgia, every summer that had gone before feels the same. Like every time it gets hot,
Yeah.
it like
It's
you
true.
just like get a really good feeling all of a sudden.
I feel like any new season, you get like a wave of nostalgia just from every other season that's from every year.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
What have
And
you guys been up to?
Been up and up and
Chilling.
about, yeah.
Me and Nali had a thing today where we had to like bring our script in for uni, and our lecturer read it, and it was really I was really nervous.
I
'Cause
was quite nervous
you just
too.
sit there, and the lecturer will just read it, and you just sat there in silence.
Yeah.
But
It
yeah,
was-
she liked it.
Yeah, she liked my one too. It was good. But it is very nerve-wracking having
Yeah.
someone critique and read your work
Yeah,
right
especially
in front of
when
you.
you're sat there. Yeah.
I guess that's the best way though, because you'll get her like first opinions.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like anything when you're learning something, you're always like really scared to like show what you're doing, but sorry, but then it's like it's just hard to get over that like hump
Yeah.
of like actually showing them what you're doing for them to actually help you.
Yeah,
If that
for
makes
sure.
any sense.
She we were meant to deliver two pieces of written work, two scripts, screenplays, whatever, and I wasn't able to do both, and she asked me why, and I said, honestly, just because I've been so stressed about getting it to a good standard that I haven't been able to actually
Yeah.
execute it. She was like, I understand, you just need to get rid of that sense of perfectionism in you and just do it, and then that way you can work on it. And I don't know about you guys, but that's something I've been having to like struggle with all my life. Like I want it to be
Not
perfect
having
straight away.
expectations and
Yeah, but also just wanting it, being so worried that it's going to be bad that you want it to be really, really good and like and of quality from the get-go.
yeah.
Almost so much so that you don't even want to like start it in the first place because you don't want it to
Exactly.
be bad.
Yeah.
It's like a fear of, not having it turn out how you want
Yeah.
it to.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The best way that I've found to do it, I used to be the same, but then I did like a workshop at Ravensbourne to do money, something like it was Money Lab, where we had to come up with a plan for money.
I remember Money Lab.
Yeah, and they were talking about prototyping, and I've taken that on. And just if you make something, like be prepared to throw it away instantly, and then redo it, and
That's
it will
really
always
interesting.
become better and better. So you should definitely write stuff down straight
Yeah.
away, and it's all inside your head doing it like that with the perfectionism thing.
Yeah.
That's
Like
that's
having
really
one
good
go.
advice.
You can't do it straight away. Great. What you got to do is do it.
Yeah.
However it comes
Yeah.
out, read it and go, oh, that bit's bad,
Yeah.
and go back and do it.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's through the re-editing that you'll get it
Yeah.
to be really great.
It's
Because
never
nothing
going to
great
come
is
out perfect
first time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I know it, and I know that's the case, but I still have this thing of, like Anastasia said, not wanting to like almost do it because I'm worried it's going to come out bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you can get stuck as well. Like you have an idea that you think is great, but then other people give you feedback and like helpful feedback that will improve your work, but you're so stuck on that idea that you don't want to like take it further because you think that that's like you love what you've done,
Yeah.
so you don't want to, even if it will make it better. I think that's a lot of people have trouble with that. I know I do.
It's because you hang on to what you've done.
Yeah.
But that was one of the things they did in the prototyping thing, was they didn't tell you, but they made you do something for 10 minutes, and afterwards they went, right, rip it up, and you had to, whatever you'd done, you had to rip it up, and they said, now do it again but better.
Yeah.
And that's the idea, is that you have to learn whatever you do. You can't be sentimental to it, you have to throw it away, kind of thing,
Yeah.
because you can always do it better.
Yeah.
That's really, really good.
Like
yeah.
literally to do something and be able to just go, right, fair enough, and do it again.
Don't be too precious
You
with
can't
your
be
work.
too precious.
Yeah.
Although saying that, there was Henning, Steinbeck, John Steinbeck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of
Wrote
Mice
a
and Men.
book. Yeah, wrote another book, and he wrote the manuscript for it and never got it published, because he moved office and he lost the manuscript.
Oh no.
He spent ages trying to find it,
Yeah.
couldn't find it,
Mm.
so he had to rewrite the entire manuscript.
Oh, man.
Years later, they found the original manuscript, compared it to the book that was published, and apparently only 10 words were different in it.
Whoa.
So that guy
What?
did achieve perfection.
That's
he could do
wow.
something.
incredible.
I didn't
Yeah,
know
that he could do something so good that it would, when you do it again, it only
10
came out
words.
10 words different, or something like that, like
Yeah.
a small
Yeah.
amount of words.
That's incredible.
That's quite mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's mad.
We all have a goal now. I need to be able to
Yeah.
deliver a script.
No,
after
it's
like
hard.
10 years.
It's hard having a creative course because you have to actually work out how to be creative or like to access your creativity.
Mm.
I think like going through GCSEs and stuff, even though I did art, I felt like I forgot how to sort of be more free and be creative. So like coming to uni was a bit tricky in that way.
Mm.
Do you ever feel pressure from what you see of other people doing, and then compare yourself to that?
Oh, yeah,
all the
absolutely,
time.
all the time.
I think it's really hard to be not original, but just come up with ideas when there's so much existing. And it's only going to get worse. I was talking to my friend about it the other day, about how just creativity, although it is within you, it's just so hard to think of new things that haven't been done before, but must be possible because people keep churning things out.
People keep churning things out, but it is, you can always like see the bits that it's copied from,
Yeah.
or maybe not copied from, influenced by, or
You can see the cracks, as I think is what you're saying.
Yeah.
The little cracks.
One of my tutors tells me, like, your work is not original. Not me, but just everyone in our year. Your work is not original until you get to year 3. And, like, when she said that, I couldn't understand it. I was like, but it is because I've made this. But I haven't really. I've looked at influence from Pinterest and, like, what other designers have done. So I see where she's coming from.
Same
Even
with
then, it
filmmaking.
surely wouldn't be original even when it gets to year 3. That's quite a sweeping statement.
Yeah.
I would say
Well,
much later. I would say like in
If
10
anything.
years' time will be original or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or does it ever become original?
I was going to say, yeah, it won't ever, like, nothing's ever
Exactly.
completely, is it? So that's not
Good
really
point,
a worry.
yeah.
I suppose, like, if you ever do anything. I was talking to a guy yesterday who was saying that he studies art, like fine art, and he was saying that he's going to stop. He doesn't want to do it anymore because he's realised that he doesn't want to ever earn money for it. He just literally does it for his own fun. So I suppose
Wow.
if where you're, and I think we're all doing courses where you create for media or for a purpose or to a brief,
For grades. Yeah.
and for grades,
Yeah.
and
And for money.
for money. That's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
that's it's
But
different
he's-
when you
he
have to
do-
work
he-
for a brief.
He's quite the opposite.
Whereas he's quite the opposite,
Yeah.
and he just said, yeah, I'm studying the course, but I've realised I might do something else as a job because I don't ever want to
Yeah.
earn money from it. It feels like it would corrupt his originality.
Yeah, I completely understand that. It's like, especially with the nature of what we study, film, like it's so commercial and films get churned out purely for the sake of being made to make money, and it's all this commercial Hollywood game, and like you lose sight of why you're making this film and why you're delivering it in this medium or in this format. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's especially at the university we are at. I feel like that ethos is crammed down your neck so heavily, and yeah,
I know on your course it looks like there's a lot of competition.
yeah,
Yeah, because it's just a big course as well. Like,
it's one of the biggest courses, I think.
yeah.
And
That's the problem, though. It's too much of a competition. It's not like a community where everyone's helping each other to, like, some people might have some skills that you don't have, but it's more like, I'm not going to share that with you because then you'll have them skills and I won't have I won't be the only one with them. But it shouldn't be like that. Everyone should just share and communicate. I think that's really important, especially at uni.
university, yeah, for sure. I think it's because we're at this media uni.
I think the only thing that gets in the way of that is like just the ego, isn't it?
Yeah, And ego is like, especially in the media and the arts, ego can be quite, especially in like the film and
Yeah.
all that. Ego is a big deal. I think, at least personally.
Yeah, like the amount of people on our course that want to be famous
Yeah,
directors,
exactly. Yeah.
and it's like,
And it's back to what Chad says about like the money, and it's like, to me, I always think of it as the money isn't gonna matter when, you know, we're all dead and buried in the ground.
that's true.
You know, your legacy is what carries on, and if you're in it for the money, then I don't know, you're gonna have that mindset, and that's gonna influence your creativity to an extent, and the stuff that you're making.
I think it's interesting though when money comes into it and how an ego, because for example, my dad works as an electrician, so he does his self-employed, he does his own work, and he's like the nicest person you'll ever meet in your life, and nobody pays him, nobody gives him money on time, and all the people who are above him are like these really not mean, but just like won't take any shit, and aren't the nicest of people, and they're rich. And then here's my dad, who's literally, honestly, couldn't meet a nicer person, and people treat him like shit just because he's
They take advantage.
Yeah.
And that's awful. I'm really sorry.
So ego is like huge in industry, but not in a good way. Like if you're like getting to play high places because you're not a nice person, like how has it come to that?
Yeah, shit. Well, we live in a world where we put, like, profit is put before people,
Yeah.
and it makes everything hard and everything is unfair, and we might as well just live in the forest and just try and not think about anything.
Wishful thinking.
Can't they? Because they're all owned by companies.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
Oh God.
When
that's
people say, "Oh, you can't,"
bitter truth.
when people say, "Oh, you can't be against capitalism and drink Coca-Cola," well, you can't remove yourself from capitalism because it is literally all around us.
Surrounding our life.
You literally can't escape it. But yeah, like the fact that living in a forest is illegal is ridiculous, don't you think?
Yeah.
No,
No?
because then everyone would, and then the people that were building upon the stuff that wasn't the forest would then end up living there and building upon the forest.
Yeah.
If it wasn't owned by a company that was protecting it, I imagine that it would then be built upon.
Yeah.
But it goes both ways, I suppose.
Yeah, it's interesting. I never thought.
Although
of it
you
like
can
that.
go to Scotland and you can camp anywhere. It's legal to camp
Really?
anywhere. Yeah.
See,
Oh,
the more I hear
really?
about
There's
Scotland,
no, apart from, I
the
think
more
in
I
the
love it.
country,
Yeah.
you're allowed to camp anywhere. It's fine.
We should all move to Scotland. Free education as well, and you can camp
Yeah.
wherever you want. It's incredible.
Yeah, I've not been there yet. I really want to go.
Yeah, I want to go.
Up in the Highlands.
Been to Edinburgh and Glasgow. Really beautiful.
Nice.
Have you been to Castle?
Yeah, it was lovely. Yeah.
I want to
and,
go.
and there's a stereotype that like Scottish people aren't nice. Bollocks. They were like so friendly and
Yeah.
so nice and so like, yeah, it's quite nice.
Do you want to move on to some questions?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, for the first two like test runs of this podcast, we've been asking a set of questions where they're meant to reveal the most about a person. So, what should I start on?
Dealer's choice.
I'll ask Chad some of the ones that we've already answered,
That's a
just
good
because
idea.
I'm intrigued to see what
That's
you're
a
going
good
to say.
idea.
Alright.
Why do you think people will do what they do?
Through impulse, I suppose. You brought up sort of ending up liking stuff either
Yeah.
naturally or imparted upon you by other people,
Yeah.
and then you end up doing what you're doing by proxy of your sort of nature.
Yeah.
I suppose I'm doing what I'm doing because I was asked when I was maybe 4 or 5, and there on upwards, what song was playing on the radio. So I listened to lots of music from that age, and it was the only thing natural to me was to do music.
That's
So I imagine
interesting.
that's similar to other people.
Yeah.
What? So you're saying that people do what they do from what they're being told to do?
Or just what's around them. What
Yeah.
you absorb as a person will affect what you do. If
Yeah.
I lived in a forest, then I imagine that I'd probably be a forester
Yeah.
or a squirrel.
Yeah.
But since I don't and didn't, I've sort of ended up being what I'd probably end up moving to the city
Yeah.
because I didn't live in it. That kind of thing.
Would you
That's
say
interesting.
so? Would you say people are a product of their environment?
Yeah, but not just that. Obviously, like you are born with certain characteristics.
Our environment like affects our behaviour loads. Like we were saying earlier about how when it's warm everyone's in a good mood, and when it's cold everyone's like, I feel like when it's warm I just want to talk to anyone, but when it's cold, like, don't talk to me,
Yeah,
I'm in a bad
Definitely.
mood.
I think that's a natural thing. Like there's I think town in Sweden. I can't remember where they build Volvos there. It's the town where Volvo's from, I think. And the workforce at the Volvo factories gets sent home for 2 months a year because most of the time it's dark, because it's in such a place in the world that the sunlight doesn't shine, and the suicide rate goes up like massively over that period. So it's definitely like a big thing, is darkness and coldness.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but this Christmas and this winter, like, I definitely like, I realized, this seasonal depression is no, it's no joke. Like, I moved out for the first time this year, like away from my parents, and then that combined with, university stress and this seasonal depression, it all sort of compiled on, and I realized, this isn't like something you should overlook. The weather and the season does have a big effect on your mood, and how you feel.
Yeah, true. I got told the same thing. I felt similar, like over winter, but I think it's a lot of feelings that happen at the same time. Especially if you've moved away or you're in like the city, I feel like definitely being in a city makes a massive difference, and being away from like lots of close people, and then the people that you do know also going away. And then also it's crappy outside, so you don't go outside, and you're freezing cold, you can't afford the heating.
Exactly, yeah.
And then it's just all sort of like, just a big weirdness.
It's weird because like obviously we're so connected like in this day and age through social media, and yet we all feel so alone. And I think it's because we replace like talking in person with talking on Facebook or texting.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there is something about being in the presence of someone else. Did you know you actually, when you touch someone else, like skin to skin contact, like a chemical is produced, and people can like get deficient in that.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you know what the chemical's called?
Oh, it begins with O, I think. Can't remember what it is.
That's really cool.
But there's this thing where like people go and like hug each other. People
Yeah,
don't
I've
have
seen
it.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
I saw that with Carl Pilkington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Like,
Yeah.
It's like off a Peep Show, like the rainbow.
Oh yeah.
Rainbow vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's really cool.
Yeah.
But the thing you were saying about like we replace physical, like that's definitely the case. I remember a couple of years ago when I was still in school, and my sister went away for university. In the beginning, we would send each other back and forth letters. I remember I would tell I had to like post this letter. I'd like get a stamp or something, and then my friend overheard and he was like, "Don't you know about like Facebook?" And I was like, it's not the point. You're missing the point. It's like writing someone a letter is so much more intimate than phoning them or even like FaceTiming them or texting them.
That's true.
Yeah, and like we live in a digital society now where like pen pals don't exist anymore. You know what I mean? Like it's quite depressing.
Yeah.
It is. I have another question, completely different, or maybe slightly. So, what emotions do you express well, and what emotions do you not really express very well?
Who's this?
Anyone who wants to answer first.
I feel like you haven't asked this one before.
No, this is a newbie.
This is fresh, yeah.
I think I find sympathy hard to convey.
Really?
Yeah. Not
That's
that I don't
interesting,
feel it.
actually,
Not that I
yeah.
don't feel
You
it,
don't
but I
know.
don't really know how to.
What? So, if someone was crying, how do you deal with someone crying?
Not really sure. I'd feel very weird.
I feel weird as well.
But then if I knew them, I'd ask what's up.
Yeah.
If I didn't know them, I don't know. Maybe I don't know what that means.
Because sometimes I see like strangers crying, and inside me I'm like, I really want to go and ask them, but then part of me is like, oh, if I was crying, would I want
Yeah.
someone
Yeah,
to come up to me? Like, it might make me feel weird
for sure.
so I never know what to do.
Yeah, the thing is, when people are crying or very visually upset, they're in such a fragile moment where you don't know what you could do that could easily like make them even worse.
Yeah.
So that's why for me, like if someone's crying, I don't know.
You
I
don't
feel
know
like
what to say.
I could make the situation worse. That's why I get a bit nervous.
Yeah.
So it's a bit,
I think it's interesting what you said about if you know them or if you don't. My mum was crying on FaceTime to me the other day, and I was just kind of sat there like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And she's my mum, so I mean, and I didn't know what to do, so she
You just gotta talk, haven't you? There's nothing else you can do.
this is it. People don't talk. That's why we're
Yeah.
here.
Or listen, at least. Like,
Mm.
I think sometimes people like try and tell if someone's crying. People will try and like suggest ways in which they can get better, but sometimes that doesn't work, and you just gotta listen, or at least hear what they're saying, and then kind of repeat back to them what you're hearing, and like sometimes it gives them a perspective.
Yeah.
what
People
they're
are
saying.
often quick to want to give you a solution or something,
Yeah.
some sort of advice when
Actually,
most
they
of
don't
the time,
always know
yeah.
what is best.
no, not even that. Maybe you don't even want an answer. You don't want a solution. You just want to be
Yeah.
heard. You want
Yeah.
someone to listen to you.
express your feelings.
Exactly.
What other emotions? What emotions do you express well?
Like happiness and joy. Like if I get happy, like I just start to like get
Yeah.
really bubbly, and I think I can't contain myself.
Do you know what? I don't know if I express happiness well. Like, if I'm super excitable, I go really like weird and crazy, and people get
I've
a bit
noticed
weirded
that,
out.
Henny.
People get weirded out, so sometimes I'm like, better tone it down.
You shouldn't though, like
Nah.
I think people get a buzz off if you're excitable,
Yeah.
people get a buzz from that.
Yeah.
I mean, not everyone will, but I think
It will spill onto other people.
Yeah.
that's
And
true.
and it's like, it's being eccentric.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Expressing yourself.
Mm.
I think I pervade curiosity. I don't
Quite well.
can't do sympathy. Well, I can't express sympathy,
Yeah.
but I'm very good at expressing curiosity.
Yeah, you are. You ask questions. Yeah, I'd say you are.
Cool. There you go. All right, we're in
Yeah.
agreement. Nice one.
I feel like I can't express anger very well.
Really.
Do you know?
If I'm angry at someone, I won't say it.
I had this. I was on a bus the other day, right? I was on my way to Camberwell, and I was going over Dog Kennel Hill. This guy got on the bus, like kids. These were kids.
Yeah.
The kid was maybe like 9, 10. He got on and he had some funky looking glasses on, and like a strap around the back of the glasses, like a school kid, like early secondary school kid.
Yeah.
Then these sort of bigger lads got on the bus, and this kid that got on with the glasses was the stereotypical culprit of bullying.
Oh,
I couldn't, and it looked, and he sat next to me on the seat next to me on the
Yeah.
2-seater bus bits.
Mm-hmm.
Guys got on behind him, and after a while, started like they were talking to him. I had my headphones in, and I could see them like talking to him and like antagonising him, but I was just leaving it be.
Yeah.
Can't really do too much. Then they started hitting him over the back of the head, like slapping him.
Oh man.
And that sort of happened like a couple of times, and I was like getting ready to like turn round and sort of like be like what are you doing? He slapped me on the head.
Oh.
But he slapped me on the head. This like
Oh
what
my
must have been
God.
16-year-old kid. So I turn around the back seat. I take my headphones out real slow, trying to look menacing. Took my headphones out, turn around. I go, leave it out, mate. And he goes, "What'd you say?" And I said, "Leave it out, mate." And he went, looked at me and like sort of nodded and sort of said, "Yeah, all right." I turned around and I went, "Sorry." Like in my head, I said sorry out loud. The most embarrassing thing I've ever done was turn around.
Apologise.
I apologised for my like not even outburst, my mild slap on the wrist. So I'm rubbish at shutting anger.
You should have went. I didn't mean that.
Yeah, it was essentially what I did.
Oh, man.
I've never been more angry at myself in my life.
That is like
But I
perhaps
can't show anger.
It's the most British thing I've ever heard. Like,
Yeah, it's
apologising.
bloody embarrassing.
Yeah.
It was bloody embarrassing. I'm like never. I'm gonna have to learn to be angry from now on.
Yeah.
But no,
Yeah.
I can't do anger.
No,
When was the last time you were angry?
Um,
You're angry. You're angry.
I'm trying to think. I really can't think. Yeah, I just, when you just can't confront people about anything. You just have to like. I just don't express it.
In our class, I remember the tutor had said something
That's
or done
true.
something, and you were very
Nali could
visually
tell I was really angry.
quite on edge. I remember seeing that. So you weren't angry per se, but you were a bit
I was pissed off.
frustrated, to
I
say
was
the
pissed
least.
off because, I don't know if they're gonna listen.
There was something about what
Are
she
they
had
gonna
said
listen
that had like put
No,
you...
they're not gonna listen. Of course they're not. Come on, it's a
So-
safe space.
So
I mean, you're not attacking anyone.
no,
You-
okay. So
I don't think
basically,
they'll...
I was irritated because, so in our class we can do projects about anything, and it's for a thing called creative conscience, and I get annoyed that we're creating something that's their name is on it, and also I get annoyed when the teachers come over and they kind of like
Send mixed messages.
they sent first of all they were sending mixed messages, and then they were like just repeating back what we had already like done
established.
and as if it was their idea.
Right.
And I was kind of getting a bit like, no, this is our idea. I was getting a bit protective over it.
Yeah, I think your first point about them having like it being for them or their stamp being on it.
Yeah.
I don't think that's actually the case.
No.
I think that's not the case at
No.
all.
I was gonna say that's.
Yeah,
I think that's
that's a very strong statement to make.
Yeah, maybe
I
that's
think
not a thing.
you're very passionate about this, and I think that's
Yeah.
maybe.
If you are
expected your
listening,
side.
tutors, thank you very much. I've really enjoyed the lectures. Anyway, but onto your second point, what was it about? Like, I think all these things might be the case, but it happens not intentionally, just without them even realizing, because the nature of the subject matter and everything.
Yeah, and I do get pissed off or like frustrated with the whole sort of. So we have to make social change, and like sometimes I feel like things are overdone. Do you think like that? People
What
are,
do I say?
or I feel like the same points are being said. The same points are being said all the time, like, and I
What
kind
points
of
are
get.
they?
Like sexism is bad, racism is bad.
What, they say that in class? Or do you mean just in general?
It's
Just
hard
like
to find.
campaigns of the same thing, but like
They're not saying
there's only
anything
so
new.
much you can say something, but nothing change from it.
Yeah, and I
It's-
get annoyed that it's making it stale, and it shouldn't be stale.
Right.
All this stuff.
Well, I suppose that's a hard thing to tackle.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
that I might find the closing down of my local pub to be my most pressing bad thing that's going on in my life.
Yeah.
There are obviously lots of things that everyone finds bad, and they're the things that take precedence. But just because it might be going a bit stale or lots of people are doing it, that doesn't affect the cause.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think that
I would
might be a
agree.
view. I
Yeah.
think the more things are being done about something, whether it's good or bad, the more awareness is being raised of it,
Yeah.
and whether the social
Change.
everyone change might happen or not, that's down to not just you but all of the people who are interacting with that problem.
I can completely see where you're coming from. I think it's like if you take such a big topic, for example, mental health, a lot of campaigns have been brought out in like recently in the past few years to do with mental health, and it's so not overdone, but it's so done that it almost becomes like, oh yeah, I'm seeing that again. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I feel like that as well, and I don't want to feel like that. And
No,
I get
yeah.
frustrated
Well,
feeling like that.
I don't know. I beg to differ. Not to do with my last point. I mean, this is what I was saying. I spoke to a load of people over the past couple of weeks about how they approach mental health or how they've found or been aware of mental health, or how they were aware of it, basically, in general. And people have said over the past 2 or 3 years, they seem to have taken far more notice of it. That's definitely in my case. I've only really been aware that mental health is actually even a thing over the past 3-4 years. I don't know whether that's moving to London or whether that's just the general awareness of it. But I think the more people are saying stuff about it, the more people are becoming aware.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's good.
Yeah, it's just the more it's being said, whether it's what you guys are saying, if it does lean in this bad direction, at least things are being said, and then that way it's generating awareness, and then that can only be a positive, right?
And
Yeah.
for all the bad things that are happening, there's always a reaction, isn't it? Like what you're
true.
doing.
I guess we're kind of thinking about it personally, like, oh, it's that again, or it's that again. But if we think about it like worldwide, it's probably having a lot of impact on the world. But just personally, if I see it, like if I'm scrolling down Instagram and I've seen the same thing like 5 times, I'm just like, oh, I almost like don't even care about it anymore because I've seen it so much.
We have to remember, we maybe have seen it, that very small demographic of London City University art students, we personally may have seen it a lot. There's probably so many people out there that aren't aware, and that's why I guess the more it's generated, the better, because just because we've seen it doesn't mean other people haven't seen it and have been exposed to it.
That's true.
Especially like the older generation, like things that we see in our everyday lives is 100% different to what, as let's say, my parents see.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
But it's
that's very
interesting,
true.
even that my mum like talks about just mental health. She's never spoken about that in her entire life up until like a year or 2 ago. And yeah, I think the more people that know about it, the better it is.
It's become this mass epidemic, hasn't it? Especially for like men, and this idea of like the male suicide rate just skyrocketing, and it's become this, like I said, this epidemic. It's insane. Like I had no idea about it until like the past few years.
I think. Do you guys watch This Morning?
I love This Morning.
love
No.
I
No.
love This Morning because
Sorry.
it's like, do you not like it?
I don't know, I've never seen it.
Oh,
Yeah, I
well,
never watched it.
it's like what is it? It's like a news show.
It's just a morning show.
but
Philip Schofield.
Oh, no,
Holly
the
Willoughby.
one with Holly
Yeah.
something.
Oh
Yeah.
no, I've never watched
yeah,
This
I've seen
Morning.
it.
Oh no.
And they just
great.
have banter, and they,
It's
great.
it's
yeah.
honestly
Is it
so
good?
good, and they talk about a lot of issues that like need to be spoken about, and they get
Yeah.
guests in it. It's like a podcast.
They have a
but
phone-in
it's
as well.
Like, yeah, they have phone-ins, and it's honestly the best show. And they were saying a few weeks ago that there's no other show like it in the rest of the world. Like America, people from America look at it and they can't understand it because it's so open and it's
Yeah.
not like a news show. And I think more people should watch it.
I love it. It
It's
just
honestly the
sets
best.
me
Might
up
have
for the
to
day.
Check it out, yeah.
Yeah, and like the presenters are always like, I always like the presenters because it's yeah,
It has the humorous aspect as well, so
Yeah.
like it makes you want to keep watching.
and it's a bit of everything. Like you have a bit of cooking,
Oh,
Bit of-
right.
a bit of
This is,
fashion.
and then there's like the really funny Italian guy who gets
Oh,
angry.
Gino.
What,
Yeah,
Gino D'Acampo?
yeah, I've seen him in like memes and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But I think it is aimed to the older demographic.
yeah.
But I think
It's kind
more
of what
people,
we're doing. In
yeah,
a way.
I think more people our age should genuinely watch it. I mean, it's all a bit of a funny time because it's like when people have gone to work,
Oh yeah, it's
people have
like
gone to
daytime TV.
yeah.
Hmm.
But clips on YouTube.
Yeah. No, I totally recommend.
You
Great.
get dogs on a lot.
Yeah, dogs.
But it's
Shall I
good
ask
when there's a
another
dog
question?
involved. Go for it.
How deep are we talking?
That's your choice. I'm a quarter of a bottle of wine deep at the moment.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Okay. If you were famous in whatever career you do or want to do, who would you like to impress the most?
I don't want to
Wow.
be famous. I couldn't think of anything
What
worse.
if you were like just a really successful graphic designer?
Hold on. That's very interesting. Anastasia just said she couldn't think of anything worse than being famous. What? Do you want to elaborate on that? I want to hear more on that.
The idea that people like want to know where I live, want to know where I am, what I'm doing, scares the hell out of me. I think it's really like underestimated, because I know that, like, from what we see, they live this like lavish life and they're like posting on Instagram and stuff, but I just can't think of anything worse. I think Lily Allen put me off because I don't know if you've heard of her like stalking.
Yeah, I've watched that.
And it's just crazy. I just couldn't think, like, not be able to go to Asda, just do my weekly shop without someone in my ear.
Yeah.
The pressure must be intense. Like always being in the limelight and someone ready to pop out and put a camera and your microphone in your face. Yeah.
Some people suit it though, don't they? Some people enjoy the celebrity.
For sure.
I don't know who I'd impress though. I'd like to have the regard of Jeff Lynne from ELO.
Jeff Lynne.
Yeah, I want Mr. ELO man that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
If I think his songs are so cool, I'd love him to go, Chad, that's a cracking song. If I had him say that, I'd be sorted.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be famous though either particularly. I'd like to be held in high regard.
That's what I meant. Like just successful.
Oh yeah.
Who would you have then? For your respective
To be
fields?
honest, probably just my family.
No.
Or like part of me is like anyone who's ever like doubted me, I want to like show them. Do you know what I mean? But I can't really think of anyone that's ever like been like, oh, you would never do what you want to do or whatever.
I don't know who I'd want to impress. I don't really think about impressing people. I don't know.
Just need to impress yourself.
Yeah. I guess I'd want the general public, like the layman, to be impressed. Do you know what I mean? Not to know who I am, but if they were to do a quick Google search, in this hypothetical situation, and they found who I am and what I do, for them to go, oh wow, that's really respectable. That's what I'd want.
Yeah, it's about respect, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Earning respect.
Would you do that for the sake of you wanting to the gratification that other people know you, or would you do that because you want to speak for the layman, as you put it?
I think it's a bit of both, but definitely in the sense of I want to be able to. I think once you've reached the fame, a lot of time your voice can change, and you're no longer like. It depends on your upbringing, obviously. So like, I wouldn't say I'm like from a relatively upper or like higher class. I'd say I was brought quite working class, and I don't want that to change if I were to become famous, and I don't want that to change how I think. So I do want, like you said, I do want it to be a voice of where I'm from, especially in terms of like my ethnicity and my background and who I am in terms of my identity. But also the gratification is obviously, quite nice. Let's not like lie.
Oh yeah, I think I look for it. I definitely look for gratification.
We do, don't we? Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think that's anything to be ashamed of.
Not at all. Yeah. We all want to be gratification, don't we? That's like the most human thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
From when you're very young as a child, from your parents to now when you meet someone like interesting, or when you're like dating and stuff like that. It's all about gratification. Damn.
Imagine I was just thinking about Banksy. Do you think Banksy's parents know about him, or do you think he ever feels tempted to tell everyone it's me?
Yeah, I bet he does, but that's where the gratification comes from.
Yeah.
Definitely, is that he's just a mogul going about doing his art. No, mogul's the wrong word. But he's an anonymous person.
Yeah.
That's where the gratification comes from him, I reckon.
Yeah.
And his gratification comes from the fact that other people appreciate his art as opposed to
that's what
being
I'd
publicly
want.
recognised.
That's the charm of his whole identity, though, isn't it? If we knew who he was now.
Oh, his work would be nothing, wouldn't it? His work would be
It
worth
wouldn't,
nothing.
yeah.
Well, it wouldn't. It'd still be sick, but it'd definitely lose half of its value, I reckon.
Yeah.
Or more, or less.
No.
I think people like mystery, don't they?
Yeah.
It's always really intriguing and people want to know more. But when you don't know, there's no outcome, people stick. But the minute you give everything away, people are, oh, yeah, seen that.
Yeah.
But
Interesting. Should I find another question?
Yeah. Maybe one about like insecurities or something.
Insecurities.
I'm always
How?
fascinated by insecurities.
Yeah. How do you think people see? What do you think people? What do you think people think when they first meet you, and how does that change as they get to know you?
Oh God, that's a hard one. See, I'm really bad at like nailing first impressions.
Yeah.
I'm so like, the first time I meet someone, it's such a bad representation of who I am because you're trying so hard to nail this first impression.
Yeah.
And then like, you know the saying, oh, I'm nicer once you get to know me, or blah 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 blah. Like, I think that's definitely the case for me.
I think when I first met you, Nali, I thought you were quite sort of geeky and just.
Oh, cheers, Henny.
That's not a bad thing, I
No,
don't think.
elaborate.
I thought you were quite geeky and just sort of a normal guy, and then as I got to know you, I was like, he's very emotional. He's very emotional and like, I don't know how to describe. Yeah, just emotional.
I think emotional is accurate. Yeah.
You feel a lot.
Yeah,
I can tell you feel a lot.
for sure. I'm all caught up in my feelings.
I can see it now, you're just feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's me. And like for a long time I was like ashamed to show it, but now it's like there's no shame in that.
Yeah, no, it's good.
It's the most human thing, right?
It's all good, yeah.
it's refreshing to see.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because not many people are, and it's actually nice to see. And also, one of my first impressions was when I met you, I was just instantly comfortable.
Yeah, same actually.
That's
And
really nice, guys.
It doesn't happen easily with me. I'll sit there until someone speaks to me rather than actively go and make a conversation.
Yeah.
But
I feel really nice now. Thank you, guys.
I think just Nali's just a character, so I think it's just easy to talk about Nali.
It's because I don't shut up, right? I just keep on yapping away until everyone's
I
comfortable.
can't think what my first impression of you, Chad, was. I can't think. Can't even remember.
I'm still making it, I think. So probably
Yeah.
to all of you. So what was the question? And I'll be able to answer it truthfully.
So
from
what
this
do you
perspective.
think other people think when they first meet you? How do you think they see you?
I think what I think they see me as and what they see me as is completely different.
What do you think they see you?
I don't really pay much attention to it.
Okay.
I used to want to leave lasting good impressions on people all the
Yeah.
time. I always wanted to be this person I had in my head that I was.
Yeah.
I don't know what that person was, but I think he was quite loud and brash and funny and charming and all of the things that you want to be.
Yeah.
So I'd like to think that that's what people think of me when I
I
first
think
meet
you're
them.
very charming.
Yeah.
You are very
Oh, yeah,
characterful.
I like that. I like the little chorus of people going.
Yes.
But also, I remember wanting to talk to you more. I remember meeting you and going, "Oh, I can't wait to speak to him again soon."
Yeah.
Sometime.
Well,
like,
this is definitely the environment to have done it in.
yeah.
You're not the sort of person. I don't know. You're just very different to a lot of people at uni. I
Cool.
think.
you
And
look
that's
like
a
you
good
have
thing.
a lot of stories to tell.
I have many a story
he
to
does.
tell, but as does everyone. But I'm sure we'll all unearth these at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. So the question, I don't know what I think other people would see of me, but I'd want them to see me as a person that they like.
Yeah.
And that's it. But I don't know if I feel much pressure anymore to deliver that.
I don't feel as much pressure as I used to do.
And that's
Sure.
good. I think that's really like healthy, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I think it just gets exhausting thinking about what other people think all the time.
Yeah.
Just think it's
Definitely.
too
You
exhausting.
shouldn't have to worry about it, right?
Yeah.
No, definitely not.
Should I ask another question?
Yeah. Oh, not anymore.
I just dropped my phone. Thank you.
It's okay. It's a good thing we weren't recording, right?
Okay. What thoughts keep you awake at night?
Watching Top Gear too much. And
Wait,
thinking
you think
wanting
about
to be-
Top Gear?
No, I watch it.
Do
Normally,
you, do you watch
normally,
it for the cars and all that stuff,
No,
or do you watch it for the
I think I watch it
personalities?
for James May.
You remind me a bit of
mostly.
James May, actually.
Yeah, you're not first person.
And James Acaster.
Yeah,
but, and
you're
a
not
bit
the
more
first
mellowed
person.
down James
Yeah, I know,
Acaster.
it's really weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, I don't look like many people, but James Acaster is one of them.
Definitely.
I've only just started going to sleep without looking at a screen,
That's
so I don't
Good.
know what thoughts go through my head too
But
much
do you ever-
anymore.
You never lie awake at night worrying about anything?
No, I'm normally asleep by then. I don't. Maybe watching a screen is a distraction from actually having that time to think.
Maybe.
I find that quite scary, having like a moment to stop and think. Although I've started having that recently. I've started like reading books. And
Yeah.
That's
trying to
good.
sleep instead.
That's good.
What do you have things that make you lay awake at night?
For me, that's when I feel most alone. When
That's
I'm
what
in
I'm
the middle of the night,
Yes,
when I'm on my own,
sure.
I can't
What do
sleep.
you think?
I just think I'm terrified of, like, the idea of like loneliness terrifies me. Just the idea of like having no one to turn to. Like, people would ask me what you're most afraid of. For me, it would genuinely be having no one in your life. Like,
Yeah.
no family, no friends, no one to talk to. You know what I mean? Like that. I don't know if that's what's going through my head at night, but that's definitely a part of it.
Do you think that do you think that most nights?
Oh, I don't know. I couldn't tell you what I think. I couldn't tell you the specifics of it, but it's definitely like the idea of being alone. Like,
Yeah.
because it's like middle of the night, you're awake, you're meant to be asleep. The idea that everyone else in the house, everyone else across the nation is asleep, but you're up. That kind of leads itself to this idea of
Yeah.
being alone. I don't know.
I think it's easy to think like that at night, just because it is night time.
Yeah.
And it's like deathly silent, so
Yeah.
But I can't handle that. That's why I always have music playing.
oh
Yeah.
Because
really?
if it's silent, then it will drive me insane. So I've noticed recently, there isn't a moment in my day-to-day life, where I don't have music playing or something like that all the
Yeah.
time. Like, I'm listening to music, or I have the radio on, or I have my Spotify on, or
Yeah.
whatever. It just fills the room, and it makes it feel like someone's in the room. It makes it feel like you're not alone.
Yeah.
Do you
Oh.
have
No,
have
go for it.
headphones on when you're on public transport?
No.
Yeah.
You have earphones, right? You were telling your anecdote about the kid, and you had
Yeah,
earphones
I
on.
very rarely do it. I normally I try and take I take a notebook with me most of the time now
Mm.
and try and just write stuff down or read a book or just think. I actually quite like public transport for thinking and looking at other people. I love looking at other people on public
Yeah.
transport. I don't know if they like me looking at
Fascinating.
them very much, but it's definitely interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
No,
Definitely.
but I can't do it at night. I don't like sitting alone at night. But what do you think then, Anastasia?
Well, I always use earphones, but then today when I was on my way to uni, I took my earphones out because I just didn't want to listen to any music anymore.
Yeah.
And I sat on the tube and just watched, and I'm going to do it more because
It's nice, isn't it? It's like breathing. If
And I
you've
feel-
got something in your ears all the time, or you're always ingesting something, it's like you don't ever get time to just exhale.
when you've got earphones in, it's like you're disconnected from the world because
Yeah, you're plugged in, literally.
yeah. And like, although I'm not talking to anyone on the tube, I almost like I'm hearing conversations and seeing what other people are doing and, just how they act, like mannerisms even. But I just feel like when you see someone and you've got your headphones in, you're not actually seeing them because, you're listening to.
There's something between you and them, isn't there, all the time?
Yeah. But in regards to what keeps you up at night, do you have anything?
Well,
That keeps you up?
the sort of the same as you, loneliness, but not just at night, like all the time, throughout the day. Whenever, when people say like, just have 10 minutes where you're not doing anything, where you're not on your phone, you're just sat doing nothing. That's like the worst thing for me because all I think is like, wow, I'm fucking lonely as shit.
Yeah, just
So-
as you were saying that, I started to get a bit stressed because
yeah.
when you have that time to yourself to really think and there's nothing, that's when you really start to delve into your thoughts, and that would drive me insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any advice, like, if anyone feels like that, does anyone have any ideas of how you could get out of that and go back to sleep?
Put headphones in. No, I'm joking.
I guess you gotta channel all of that into something. You gotta channel it into.
To actually get out of bed and just work through it.
If it's keeping you up, then
Yeah.
yeah, go and write, draw, like play your
That's true.
instrument, read your book, do something, channel it into some sort of activity, and that's what I've always been told, and like it is helpful,
Yeah.
and like it could be the smallest thing. It could be just doodling. I know someone, she was here earlier, Alice, my friend, she has like books, like many books, like little notebooks where the pages are full of just dashes, because that is what calms her down when she's in a stressful environment.
Yeah.
So, just it could be anything. But this is the thing, it could be anything, and it's until you find out what that thing is. Like,
Yeah.
I think also if you're thinking something, what I've done since I was a kid is that if I was thinking something, I don't know why it's a dolphin, but it is. If something I don't want to think about comes into my brain, I forcefully think about a dolphin.
That's interesting.
Like I force my brain to think about the sea and specifically a dolphin. I don't know why.
Maybe
and
that's
then
your spirit animal.
perhaps it
and then
is.
after a while it goes away. Also opening the window I think is really, I do that a lot.
I look
That's
out
a
the
good
window.
one. Just going for a walk really clears your head. Maybe you can't, maybe not for this situation example of being late at night, but just going for a walk really clears your head and really makes you feel better.
Also, like if you're exercising throughout the day, I think where I go wrong is I'm quite lazy at the minute. I never used to, but I'm quite lazy. I need to do more exercise so that when I'm actually going to bed, I'm tired and I need to go to bed. But if you've just sat in your room all day doing nothing or working on your laptop or whatever, and then you go to sleep and you're in the same room that you were, you're not going to go to sleep. I'll be up at like 4 in the morning then, and I'll only go to sleep because my eyes are literally like closing while I'm like talking. I think if you go to bed feeling tired, you'll most likely sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you need to be tired. It doesn't have to be physically, it could be mentally. Like, it means you've done something that day. But if you've done nothing, then you're not tired and you can't go to bed. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess if you're like, you can't go to sleep because you're thinking too much, I guess you didn't think enough through the day about a certain
Maybe.
thing.
Or maybe you
Maybe.
just need to slow it down,
Yeah.
take a breather. Or like I said, channel it, write it down.
Yeah.
Like, for me, I have so many things going through my head, and then I can't escape that until I like write it down. And then once I've written it down, it's there and it's stored and it's out of my head, and then I feel calmer and I feel more like, I feel like I can breathe.
Yeah.
I feel like,
I used to do that. I used to write down my worries and then like put it in the bin, like throw it away to try and get rid of it. I don't really do that now.
yeah,
Maybe I'll do it again.
wicked.
How long have we been going?
50 minutes or so?
No, 60 minutes. 1
An
hour. Should we
Should
end it?
Should we wrap it up?
Yeah, let's end it.
Hmm.
All right, thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And thank you to Chad for coming
for
in.
joining us.
Thank you.
It's been great having you on.
Yeah, cheers for having me. Thank you.